Good morning, third grade online learners. Today is February 3rd, 2021. Welcome to Mr. Monzo's science class. This is our second attempt at the video. Um, I was just talking to my daughter last night, and she's a student teacher, and I was telling her she was a little bit concerned about always being interrupted when she's teaching. And I said, get used to it. So we had an interruption, but that's okay. We're going to get back to our lesson now, and it is on heat. The heat is on. And I am going to borrow Miles Johnson's computer. Okay, thank you, Miles. And this is what the website looks like to you guys at home. Um, it's a short website. There's only 3 paragraphs. But, it's third grade. Why give you 20 paragraphs? Sometimes we do. So here is from Britannica.com. Heat is a form of energy. Heat flows from hot objects to cold objects. It flows from one object to another because of their difference in temperature. The cool object absorbs the energy and becomes warmer. Objects are made of particles or bits called molecules. Molecules are always in motion. As an object is heated, the molecules in the object move faster. When this happens, the temperature of the object rises. Heat travels in 3 ways: by conduction, by convection, and by radiation. Conduction is the flow of heat inside an object. It is also the flow of heat between objects in contact with each other. An example is the flow of heat from a hot frying pan to a food placed in the pan to cook. Convection is the flow of heat caused by motion of liquid or gas. An example is the heating of water in a tea kettle. As water is heated, the molecules that make up the water rise and the heat spreads. Heat radiation is the flow of heat between objects that are not in contact with each other. An example is the heat felt by someone standing a distance away from a hot stove. Radiation from the sun gives Earth most of its heat. Energy from the sun's radiation is stored in such fuels as coal, oil, gas, and wood. These fuels can be burned to provide more heat. Okay, so that is our website for today. And from that, I asked you guys to come up at home and in school with 3 to 5 sentences. And some people worked ahead. I said, well, let's add some sentences to that. I'm not sure if I shared, and I think I did, but earlier in the week, I might have shared that I bought a small space heater one time. And the sales pitch from the salesman was, this is a special heater because it heats up cold objects, it makes them warmer, and those warm objects in the room will heat up the room. Well, there's nothing special about that. That's just the way heat works. So any space heater you buy is going to do that. But I did buy it based on that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to heat up the objects in my room and they'll heat up other things. That's just science. And he was smart. He knew his science, but he acted like this was some new technology. It's just the way heat works, guys. Okay? Heat heats up cold objects. They become warm. Then those like all the desks in this room, once they become warm, there's heat coming off of them. The whole room gets warm. The more students we add to this room makes the room warmer. As a matter of fact, the maintenance guys told me that when, as the day goes on, they automatically, with the computer, turn the heat down in the building. Because there's more kids here, there's more people moving, there's more heat. The only problem is when teachers are here by themselves on a day with no children, it gets really cold. Because the room is relying on everybody to provide heat, and when people aren't here, we don't have as much heat. So I end up wearing a sweater like this one. And I only have 12 students at the most in homeroom, so if they're basing that on 25 students, it's not getting hot enough in here. So here is my summary, guys. Heat starts with warm objects and then moves to cooler ones. Objects are made of molecules. Molecules move when they are heated. The sun gives off heat called radiation. Heat can also be made from fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Okay, to make our video a little bit interesting, I invited some students to come up and read their summaries, and some of it may sound the same. They are supposed to make part of it a little different. So first up, we're going to ask Miles. Miles, come on up, stand in front of the camera, make sure you can see yourself, and give us your summary.
I said radiation from the sun gives the Earth most of the heat on this planet. Heat is a form of energy. Heat travels in three ways, and radiation is one of them. Cold objects become warm by absorbing warm energy. Heat starts as warm objects and then moves to colder ones.
Okay, good job, Miles. And you know what he was basically saying there is the sun heats up the earth with radiation. Heat goes from cold objects, makes them warm, then it comes off those objects, makes the rest of the room warm. So it's a very similar summary to what I was saying earlier. Okay, next up is Katie, and she's going to do her summary from yesterday. Just to make it a little bit interesting because it's still based on heat, and a lot of people type the same thing. So here's from yesterday.
Today I am talking about heat. Many things make heat. Rubbing your hands together make heat. The sun is hot like heat. A heater blows out heat. Heat is used for a lot of things. Heat is used to make steel, and a fire has heat too.
Okay, very good job, Katie. That was our summary from yesterday, and she was able to speak nicely and clearly, so I'm sure you guys all heard that at home. And next up is Lydia. Lydia is going to do a summary from today's website, and it may be very similar to mine, but you might know some difference because Lydia worked a little bit ahead, which is okay as long as you don't get too bored in science class, Lydia.
Okay.
She gets the hint. Okay, Lydia, go ahead.
It's not the same as his, but this is mine. Today's hot topic is heat. Everyone knows that the sun is hot, but what is heat? How does heat move? Heat is a certain type of energy. Atoms and molecules help the inside of objects move. They get faster and faster when they move fast. The temperature rises. But heat moves from objects. That's because objects are different temperatures. For instance, when you have a warm stove, you can feel the heat.
Very good job. I like that introduction by Lydia. She said heat is a hot topic.
I said today's topic is heat.
Oh, what? I thought you said heat is a hot topic. No. Okay. Well, maybe I was using my imagination a little bit. So, guys, stay warm. It looks so cold out there today with the snowstorms that we've been having. Snow makes everything look a lot colder. It's going to get warm for a little bit. We're going to get some radiation heat from the sun for a few days. And next week it's supposed to get cold again. Let's power through February, and spring is coming. Walter, do you have a question?
6 more weeks of winter because of the groundhog saw its shadow.
Yes, we have a little thing in Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil, a little creature that if he sees his shadow, many people believe we have 6 more weeks of winter. It's a neat thing it's a neat tradition. But Mother Nature. It almost always seems like we have 6 more weeks of winter, regardless of what happens with him. But it's neat to celebrate that and to have a folklore and a folk tale like Punxsutawney Phil. He seems to have some influence on the weather. Miles.
That means 6 more weeks until my birthday.
Oh, Miles' birthday is the first day of spring, so I am going to officially celebrate Miles' birthday every year because I like winter, guys, but you know, when I get to this point in February, I am ready for some heat. I am ready to move on and get back to the heat of spring and maybe even early summer. All right, the heat is on, as Glenn Fry once said, and thank you, 3rd grade online learners, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.